Huck stares at the letter. He believes turning Jim in will save his soul. He feels the fire waiting for him if he doesn't. And then he says, "All right then, I'll go to hell." No trumpet, no sermon, no applause. Just a lost kid choosing damnation over obedience. American literature is full of heroes who make brave speeches, make noble sacrifices, or win battles by force. Huckleberry Finn is not one of them. He's a barefoot kid running from his abusive drunk father. He barely knows how to spell. And the world he was born into taught him exactly one thing. Morality is obedience. Obey your elders, obey the law, obey God, and above all, Jim is property. That's the foundation of Huck's universe. Not as a theory, not as an opinion, as a fact of nature. Like gravity, like death, like the river itself. Everyone around him repeats the same commandments. Jim is a runaway slave. Returning him isn't just correct. It is a holy duty. Every Sunday school teacher, every preacher, every proper adult. Turning Jim in is righteousness. Huck doesn't question this. He's not a rebel genius. He's a child indoctrinated so thoroughly he can't imagine the world working any other way. But life does something literature never stops doing. It forces relationships that violate rules. Jim is supposed to be cargo. Huck is supposed to be the delivery boy. And yet, the raft turns them into something forbidden. Companions, partners, friends. Jim listens. Jim protects. Jim cares for Huck the way adults never did. And this is the crack in the dogma. Because Huck doesn't feel like he's transporting property. He isn't moving a possession. He's traveling with someone who sees him. But Huck doesn't trust feelings. Feelings don't earn salvation. Feelings don't get you into heaven. So when he writes the letter that will betray Jim, he believes he is doing the noble thing. It's the responsible decision. The one every adult has prepared him to make. This moment, the famous letter scene, isn't just a turning point in a story. It is a collision between two moral systems. The one he was taught versus the one he experiences. And the price of choosing experience is eternal damnation. Understand that. Huck isn't choosing between keeping a friend and losing a friend. He thinks he's choosing between heaven and hell. Not metaphorically, not philosophically. He actually believes saving Jim will doom his soul forever. That's the brilliance of Twain's trap. We know Huck is right. Huck believes he is monstrous. That contradiction is the purest form of moral conflict. When Huck looks at that letter, his mind is already made. Return Jim. Be applauded. Be saved. He raises the letter. The world waits. And then he remembers every moment Jim treated him like a son, like someone worth caring about, like someone who mattered. Religion never did that. Society never did that. Adults never did that. Jim did. And so, Huck Finn commits the most dangerous act in American literature. He rejects morality, not the wrong morality, not the bad tradition. He rejects the entire machine that built him. He tears the letter, and he says, "All right then, I'll go to hell." That line is a gunshot. It is a child committing spiritual suicide for friendship. People call it moral courage. That's soft. Courage implies approval, admiration, a medal pinned to your chest. This is not courage. This is self-condemnation. Huck doesn't think he's evolving. He thinks he's damning himself. That's why the scene is one of the rawest in literature. A child willingly leaps into the fire because his heart refuses to betray a man he loves. Twain could have written a heroic speech. He didn't. He gave us something harder. No ideology. No intellectual enlightenment. Just an instinctive human loyalty that destroys the morality of his culture. And that's why this moment isn't the birth of moral courage. It is the death of moral obedience. Huck Finn doesn't become righteous. He becomes something America didn't know how to classify. A boy who is willing to burn in hell if it means doing what feels painfully, undeniably human. That is the power of literature. Not to tell us what is right, but to make us feel what is right even when the entire world calls it wrong. If you enjoyed this literary incident, subscribe for more strange intersections from the history of writing.